Hello, you 7,999,000
Oh, messed it up already.
997 people that aren't the office blokes.
You missed the million bit out.
I said million, didn't I?
No,
It should be billion.
you started off with you got to be 799 billion.
No,
Yeah,
7 billion,
yeah.
999 million.
Yeah, you missed that bit out. Million.
999,997 other people out there that could be watching us right now.
Yeah, but you missed the million out.
Babies, elderly, people in comas, they all count. They could all be watching
All
us
the
right now.
gingers.
Yeah, all the gingers. We could have a nurse showing us on a phone to someone in a coma going, yeah, that counts as a view, doesn't it? We got there in the end.
We'll edit
anyway.
that bit in, Dave.
I think I was right, but obviously it's committed to camera now, so, you know, we'll see.
I can't wait for that to come out.
It's fine. It's fine. So, have you heard? The world population has hit 8 billion people.
Yeah, big number.
Last night it happened. We're filming on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it was Tuesday night it happened in the UK time.
That's when it was announced anyway, wasn't it? So
I actually saw something building up to it. They said, today, the world's population is going to reach 8 billion people.
Yeah, wonder how they
said it in that voice as well.
Yeah.
did he exactly say
This summer.
Do you know he was a train driver in
You've
London?
said, we conducted, he did
Yeah,
a tunnel
yeah,
race, didn't
announcements.
he?
Train
that's
announcer.
right, yeah, he was.
It's hard. There's going to be topics to dance around with this video. I can already see there's like a Wikipedia thing for the pandemic.
7 billion of
underneath
that 8 billion live in London.
It's true. It's true. But it's a strange time in history, isn't it, where we've had like this serious event that we've all got through the past 2 years, and the world population has hit its highest ever.
Yeah.
You'd think there'd be some sort of
Mother Nature's been trying its best to keep it below the 8 billion, hasn't it, over the last couple of years or so.
Possibly.
But,
Possibly,
yeah.
But it's an insane number, isn't it? The fact that in my lifetime I've been aware of it hitting 7 billion and then 8 billion without that many years in between, it's a scary level of growth.
I wonder how they calculate it. Must be a bit of guesswork involved and a bit of a law of
Some
averages.
guy going around
sort
with
of
them
thing.
clickers. 1,
I know.
2, 3, 4.
How many born today?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dead.
Oh, fuck.
Baby. Dead. That's how it is. Anyway.
All that.
Yeah, let's get into it then.
Ginger baby, dead.
Count.
Ginger babies count as 2.
Half.
Anyway, world population hits 8 billion. Let's see what the BBC have got to say about it.
Now, the global population is projected to hit an all-time high on Tuesday.
He looks like
what's
a
with the crazy
psycho.
eyes, man?
Yeah, he looks like a nutcase, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's definitely Kellogg's him, isn't he?
Yeah.
Pretty intense, isn't he?
Global population is just 8 billion. Tried my hardest to keep it down.
Proper angry head.
Yeah, he's a bit, isn't he? Yeah.
Imagine him on a first date. So what's your name again?
Are we going to split the bill?
Yeah. Psycho.
Reaching the landmark figure of 8 billion people. That's according to the United Nations. The world's population has doubled in less than 50 years and is set to keep rising. Our medical editor, Fergus Walsh, has been examining what the figures mean for us all.
Our planet has never held so many people as the era of huge population growth continues. Back in 1800, there were around 1 billion people on Earth, and it took over a century for that to double. Then it really took off in the 20th century, reaching 3 billion in 1960 and putting on nearly 1 billion each decade after that. It reached 7 billion in 2011. We're now set to hit 8 billion people on the planet. So what about the future? The UN projects there'll be 9 billion people by around 2037 and 10 billion by 2058. Global population could peak at around 10.4 billion in the 2080s and then plateau before declining in the next century. The United Nations says more than half the projected population increase to 2050 will be in just 8 countries. Half of them are in sub-Saharan Africa. Indeed, the total population of this entire region is set to almost double to 2 billion by 2050. Remember, it includes some of the world's least developed countries, many already experiencing food insecurity.
Yeah, Ethiopia's going through a right troublesome time at the moment.
Yeah,
and so's the DRC.
Yeah.
You know.
I think
Nigeria's always had its issues, but it's a very wealthy country in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
As far as the politicians are wealthy.
They must take into account the fact that as deprived countries become more, maybe they move into second world countries or whatever they call them, infrastructure's better, medicines are better, things like that, that more people are going to survive. Like the mortality rate for infants is going to go up.
I think that's partly the case due to with malaria, isn't it, at the moment? Because I think they're getting a handle on that a lot more than they used to 10, 20 years ago, aren't they?
Yeah.
You've also got climate change, which is causing bigger droughts. So places like Ethiopia, DRC, they're going to sort of struggle more with the drought sort of situation.
Yeah.
Because Ethiopia's been messed up for years for droughts.
It's
problems.
a place for that, isn't it? Yeah, hugely bad.
And if the population's growing by 2 billion by 2050, then in them 4 countries, that's fucking hell of a lot.
Large amount.
That's mental numbers.
I'm sure it's obviously much cleverer people than us that work on these projections and stuff. But as countries become more affluent, people have less kids, don't they?
Yeah, when affluent, more developed, and bigger industries and stuff like that, then you're right, just tends to decline more, doesn't it? So they're still up and coming sort of countries, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, but I mean, how quick with the rise of, they don't need, say, telecoms infrastructure anymore when you can have like Starlink satellites from Elon Musk, and everyone can have mobile phones with 4G.
Yeah.
So things advance quicker.
Yeah, but where are you getting your money from for that?
Well, the cost, you don't need a cost for a whole infrastructure of wires in a country.
Ethiopia doesn't have much resource. Probably, I don't know. What does it have there?
And it's I don't know, the main business exports. I'm not sure what their main.
I watched a thing about
is.
Ethiopia that said it's really, really resource rich.
Really?
But it's a lot of the stuff that I think there's a lot of British companies that have gone up and bought a lot of land, and they have the rights to mine it. So I think it's being exploited. I think it's really, really rich in minerals and things.
Isn't there a lot of Chinese companies doing that in Africa?
Africa's a hell of a lot, hell of a lot of Chinese investment in Africa. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe they're saying if you want 3 kids, you got to go and live there.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's population growth. Chinese are moving in.
But then there's also dropping fertility rates across the world, isn't there? And there's a lot of young people not able to have kids.
Yeah, but medicine's improving as well, where you can get IVF.
Yeah, where
it wasn't available in the 1800s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Modern medicine now modern medicine in a few years you won't need a male and female.
And don't forget around the rest of the world.
What is a male and female?
A door and a caravan.
Like say in developed countries, like in Britain, America, US, people are living longer as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which again, it boosts the population growth because not many people will be dying, but still the same amount being born. So
there's economic collapses on the way potentially because there's not enough young people to pay into the system to support all the old people.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's
have
going to be
actually,
a big thing.
They've paid into the system and there should be money in the pot for them.
Yeah,
but there obviously isn't, and that's why
I want to know what Ethiopia's resources are.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
I'm sure it was minerals, like
iron ore
used
and stuff like that.
used in I think used in mobile phones and stuff like that. I'm sure it was Ethiopia that I watched the thing.
Yeah.
But again, it was about how the resources aren't finding their way to Ethiopians and they're not benefiting.
Oh, they won't be. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You see the troubles you've got there. Just turn the news on and watch it. World news, and you see all the shit that's going on over there at the moment.
India and China are the world's most populous countries. Both are home to more than 1.4 billion people.
The way they portrayed that India flag there, it looks like a shit CD. Doesn't it? Looks like a shit band, like an Irish CD band. Put the Irish music on.
It's an unfortunate shape they've chosen, isn't it, really? Why not just stick to the rectangle?
Just looks like a proper shit CD with that hole in the middle and everything, right?
Yeah, you're right.
But India will overtake China next year. China's population, along with scores of other countries, is set to fall sharply later this century. Now that's because global fertility is declining dramatically. Back in 1950, women gave birth on average to 5 children. That has since more than halved to 2.3 births. And it's set.
Wow. That's you, Dave, the 0.3. 2.3.
Okay.
Prove us wrong.
I was going to make.
I thought you were going to say the same. That's why I pressed pause quick.
I thought you were going to make a joke about what I was going to make a joke about. That's why I waited. But I was going to say in China it's not 2.3. It depends if they're male or female, doesn't it?
Set to fall even further. But there are so many people of childbearing age now.
Should have waited.
Again.
Should have waited.
The global population will keep rising for much of this century. Another reason is we're living longer. Average global life expectancy reached almost 73 years in 2019, up almost 9 years since 1990. COVID pushed it down by nearly 2 years, but it's projected to keep rising. The world's population is also ageing. About 1 in 10 people.
Well, we know loads of them are Asian. They just said that. Sorry, I couldn't resist it.
Aged 1 in 10, 1 in 3, over 65, right, Mike?
The world's population is also ageing. About 1 in 10 people on the planet is now 65 or older. By 2050, it'll be almost 1 in 6. So that will put a greater burden on the young. Our growing population also puts increasing pressure on resources, food, water, energy, as well as infrastructure. Huge issues for society with lasting implications for our planet.
Wow. Yeah, wouldn't it have been fucking just as bad at 7.9 billion? Why all of a sudden now it's reached 8? All these dramatic news stories.
Yeah, I suppose it's a landmark, isn't it?
What if the world's getting heavier? You know what I mean? It's dropping, sinking a little bit. There's too many people on it. Start throwing people off. Got to get off, mate. Get off. Yeah. Take him to that edge of that ice cap. Just push him off. Doing a free ferry.
Oh, dearie me.
Yeah, it's a mind-boggling thing, isn't it? But some people argue that we've got enough resources. Some people, like Elon Musk, says we need to breed more and we need more people. I think David Attenborough years ago said that there should be about 1 billion people to be able to sustain the world and not be extincting species at an alarming rate. 1 billion people is probably about the cap. So
I don't think that's enough.
For what?
For the world to turn.
Because everyone's running. And,
you need at least. I think you need at least 3 billion.
Yeah,
in the modern world.
I think the point he was getting it from an ecological standpoint. Right. So even with 3 billion, we'd still be extincting species through taking the land and things.
Yeah, it'd still take natural resources probably, but it'd just take longer. So that'll probably still happen. And people will probably start retiring later as well, I suppose. I think people leaving school now, are they sort of like...
They can't retire.
Not yet.
Too young.
No, but... is it like 67 or 68, 70 or something?
Yeah, people are younger than that.
Your retirement age.
I know your school, they might have been 67 or 68, but fucking hell.
70 and 67.
I don't know why I bother sometimes, I really don't.
I think my kids will have to work till 68 at least.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, but also they've made when they made the...
Your kids will be working 69, mate.
Jesus Christ.
when they're old enough.
You've thrown me now. I don't know what. Yeah, the fact that they made the compulsory sign in to private pensions in this country, and then your employer contributing mandatorily, or if that's even a word. But that should ring alarm bells, because that's the way of saying there's not going to be enough money for you lot when you get old. So we're going to make sure that so we're going to make sure that you put enough away that we're not going to have to concern ourselves with the cost of living crisis for half the country.
All them pensions that everyone's been paying into last week took a massive hit over here. Because the economy fucking wants it, so they sliced whatever they did, it fucked it up anyway.
Yeah. The thing is, things like pensions and investments are all a long-term thing. If you sit there watching graphs, you're just going to stress yourself out for the rest of your life, aren't you? It'll even its way out, and then by the time I retire, I'll probably be able to afford a car. Before I'm skint.
My plan is to never retire. I just dwindle if I retired. I would fuck all to do.
Yeah.
Just carry on.
Bored.
I kind of agree with you on that. I'd always like to have something on the go.
Yeah.
But what does 8 billion mean? Like, what does it actually mean?
It means a lot of people.
I know that, but is it like, are you alarmed by that number?
Well, it's a big number. It's a big number, isn't it? You know, especially when they say it's going to keep rising and rising and rising.
Especially when you're looking at climate change and things like the more people on there, the more difference it's going to change in the climate change and stuff like that. And you've got to get your carbon footprint in order. And if everyone contributes, I don't want to be a preacher here on carbon footprint, because I don't really, I can't. Yeah. I'm not in that position to do so with the cars I drive and the way I treat energy. I'm not one of them people. But
I think global warming is probably a bigger threat, but then that could get worse potentially with up and coming and sort of like developing countries, because they do tend to use the fossil fuels more, don't they, for energy and stuff.
The thing is, you can't get everything made in China, but also criticise China for being the biggest polluter in the world, because you kind of
can't be both ways. Can you?
Because I don't know the ins and outs of how they make everything, but the reason we're not as big polluters, or maybe other economies, because we don't make anything anymore. Yeah, our industry's not here anymore.
There's still a lot of industry here. I found out the other day New Balance shoes are made in Cumbria.
Really?
Yeah. So there you go.
Clark's shoes are made in Somerset.
Yeah.
What other shoes are made in the UK?
But what you've got to remember with global warming, the good thing about it is there's not many people on the planet, and global warming does take effect, and you get like rising sea levels. It gets rid of Belgium, Holland, Luxembourg, probably.
London.
So that'll eliminate. That'll bring it down.
I'm guessing real.
Yeah. Certain parts of Wales. That'll bring the levels down then from our people, and then we can all get on. Kidding.
Yeah, the ones that are left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it'll. I'm not sure where it'll peak. Really,
we won't see anything more now. I don't think we'll probably see 9 billion.
You don't think?
Now, what's it? 2038? They said.
2038, 2050, something like
2050.
that.
Yeah,
It's about 2080.
We won't see 2080.
10 billion maybe, then it'll start coming down.
We won't be around at 2080.
No.
I'd be 94 years old.
Yeah.
It's not inconceivable.
Possibly.
If I go vegan and give up drinking,
Good luck with that one.
I won't be here.
kill myself instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let us know what you think about 8 billion. What does it mean to you? We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.